Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in this wonderful world. Welcome to another Photography Lockdown Creative Challenge feedback session. These sessions are creative workouts for your photography. They're not easy, they're not meant to be easy, they're meant to hurt a bit. That's why we don't allow you to enter pictures from your archives. You've got to get out there and do it. You've got to exercise. It's a workout for your creativity. Hello, so good to see so many of our regulars here. Wonderful to see you all. It's kind of great sitting here waiting, making sure everything's working, and tonight was a relaxed one. Nothing went wrong for a change. So it was pretty cool. It's really nice sitting here, just sort of looking, watching, seeing what's going on, looking at your conversations, where everyone is in the world. Absolutely magical. So what was I going to say? There's a few little announcements that I need to put out tonight, and I'm just getting myself organized. Forgive me one moment whilst I do that. That's getting better. Where are my notes? Here they are. You see, I am a little bit disorganized. But there we go. So what do I need to say? Well, first of all, we've got something a little bit sad. Some of you may have seen a post in the group from Daniel Briggs. Sadly, James Baxter, one of our number, passed away. He lost his battle to cancer. And I'm sure you will all join with me in sending your condolences, thoughts, feelings and love to his wife and children. He's somebody I never knew. I would have been proud to have met him. You may remember this picture, which he entered into one of the challenges a couple of weeks ago. Daniel, I don't know if you're here, but thank you for sharing with us. And you know, this is a picture he took from his hospital room window. He's obviously a guy who didn't give up. I wish I could have met him. So, condolences to his family, and I do hope you all join me in your thoughts and feelings to be sent to his family, because it's kind of sad. Life's short, people. Life is short. You never know what's around the corner. You know, this is why we just got to live it to the full. We just got to go for it. And I want tonight to be a celebration for James Baxter, please. I really do. So what else have we got here? Next little announcement I want to make. Some of you may have seen a poll which I posted in the group asking if anyone would be interested in entering a photography competition which carries some prize money. I'm partnering with ClickerSnap. Many of you may know that I am involved with ClickerSnap anyway, but we want to launch a competition. It's going to be called Posi Pics, Positive Pictures. We intend to do a bit of good with this. We want it to be an upmarket thing. We want it to be really great. We want to put money towards some good causes and charitable things along the way. As I'm sure many of you know, ClickerSnap has been growing at a phenomenal pace. It is undergoing a total rebuild, and I truly have, from day one, believed it to be a force for good in the world. We're going to be testing it, and I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to make a £2 entry. There's a possible £750 prize, £50 to each of the runners up. This is not being rolled out across ClickerSnap. We want to see what breaks. So I'm inviting you to please join in with that. It's not ready to go yet, but it is coming. This isn't a replacement for PLD. I want to make that really, really clear. This is not a replacement. This is something else that we're doing alongside it, but I want you guys to see if we can help break it. This is not being rolled out across ClickerSnap. It is only going to my followers and Tom's followers who use the ClickerSnap discussion group. It's not being rolled out to millions of people. We want to see what breaks, what works, what doesn't. So I hope you will join in. Of course, we'll be making a noise when it's ready. When it's ready to rock. Emma's busting a gut, figuring out how it works. We've got a really cool platform lined up. There is a lot of work going into this one. And I invite you to have the opportunity to come and join in and to test it. But please keep those donations for PLD coming in. As I have said, I want to reinforce this. This is not an instead of. This is something different. Those little donations make a world of difference. On that note, if you look at the bottom of the chat window, you will see there's a little $sign. If you wanted to ask a sponsored question, please do. I will make sure I answer it, or you can buy the group as a whole a little sticker, and that money goes into the War Fund to keep this all rocking and rolling and going. I'm totally blown away by last time. It was great, and I also missed someone's question in the live, but I did go back and answer it personally via an email. I'm not going to miss anyone out. The final thing, yeah, so sorry, keep posted, keep an eye out for the posi picks competition. When we are ready to go, I will let you know. If you haven't left your email address on the PLD page of my site, if you're not getting the newsletter, then you won't probably know about it. So make sure you do that. There's a link in the description area below. One of the things which I think are of extreme value within this group with what we're doing are some of the speakers that we are getting on board. And I think it's really important we all appreciate what value these guys bring, because these are some world-class people and they are giving their time for nothing. And I think there is huge value in listening to them, no matter who they are. We have got an incredible speaker for the next PLD. Someone's going to come and give us a talk. He is one of the world's great movers and shakers in photography. He's someone I'm privileged to have met. He began his career photographing the elite rock and roll gods in the music industry. He then moved into photojournalism. He lost both legs and one arm to a landmine. He is still traveling the world doing photojournalism. He has just been flying all over the world making a television series as well. His name's Giles Dooley, and he is a real force for good in this world, and this is where this value, I think, comes in. Everybody on the planet wants a piece of these guys, and they're coming and talking to us for nothing, and I think it's important we appreciate that. And that is why I think it's important to keep this group rocking and rolling and try and grow it a bit, because it is a force for good, generally speaking, around the world. It is helping photographers. It is doing a bit of good. And this is one of the things behind the Posi Picks competition. We want to launch something that will be fun, engaging, the opportunity to win some great prize money. We don't know how it's going to work fully yet, but also to use it as a bit of a force for good in the world, to do a little bit of good. Crystal, thank you. Thank you. Look at that. Crystal's just put some money into the War Fund. That is just so cool. Thank you, Crystal. You'll notice YouTube's changed its format. The chat is underneath now instead of alongside, unless I have done something wrong, which isn't unlike me, is it? But I think we got some really great stuff coming down the pipe. There's really great light at the end of the tunnel, and I think there's some exciting things coming up. But don't miss Giles Dooley. Put it in your calendar, whatever you do. Google him, find out a bit about him. He is a true force for good and a really inspiring and lovely guy. He's just a pile of fun too. So let's have a little look. What else do I need to talk about? Yes, the competition. What have we got this time? My notes are all over the place. How do you put up with me? Yeah, it was a difficult one. It was a difficult one. And I just want to say that, you know, the judging is always a painful process. It's not fun. It really isn't, because I got to pare stuff away, got to get rid of things. The only way it can be done, I looked at each image and I just said to myself, can I feel celebration? Ruggiero, thank you. You're a star. Everybody, hands up to Ruggiero. Did I feel celebration? Now, there were some great ideas, really great ideas, and that is an awesome thing, but maybe some of them lack the technical skill to pull them off. There were other great photos, but they lacked the feeling. Getting emotion into an image isn't an easy thing to do. Why do I keep banging on about getting feelings and emotion into an image? It's because that is what makes people stop and look. Emotion drives everything. If you love a beautiful landscape and it creates a feeling in you, you love it. Love is a feeling. Love is an emotion. You look at it and you just feel moved by it. It's an emotion. That's what makes you look at it. If you're interested in maybe a story, something intriguing, something arty, it provokes an emotion. Even if you look at a picture that makes you angry, that you don't like, it provokes a feeling, an emotion. And that's why I bang on about this. It's not just about being good with the camera and taking a nice picture. It's about trying to get a feeling into something. And that's a hard thing to do. That's why these are workouts. That's why this is not an easy thing to do by any stretch of the imagination. It really isn't. Oh my Lord, Beverly. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you for being you too. Thank all of you for being you. You're making this work. You're the ones who are making this possible. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Look at all these cool stickers coming in, all these little things that people are buying for everyone. Yeah, these are the things which kind of make it work. Sorry, I'm going back to my emotion thing. Clive, you're doing it so fast you can't keep up. You're doing this on purpose now, aren't you? But I love you all. Yeah, it's about bringing emotion. I don't know if anyone has ever heard. There was a venerable Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. He conducted a protest on a traffic junction in Vietnam against a very evil and corrupt regime back, I think it was in the 1970s. He quite calmly poured a tin of petrol over his head, struck a match, and set fire to himself. He just sat there quietly meditating. He didn't move, he didn't flinch, he made no reaction whatsoever. And he changed the way a country worked. He changed an evil regime. He did a lot of good in this world. There is maybe one or two photographs of that event. If you were to Google it, Thich Nhat Hanh, just monk on fire, Vietnam, 1970s, you'll find it. That provokes an emotion. Now, it could be horror, but it's still an emotion and it still makes people look at it. And that's why I feel that emotion is so important in these things, in your photography. So, let's rock and roll. Let's go look at some pictures, because that is, of course, what you want the most. So let me get my broadcast system sorted out. Whoops, I haven't got a picture there. What's the matter with you, Browne? Get yourself sorted. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. So, my first picture to talk about, to have a look at, Ruth Pritchard. By the way, these are in no particular order. If your picture didn't get shouted out, I'm sorry, I can't do all of them. I just have to look, and if it makes me think, there's something I can say about that will help everyone, I choose it. Some are interesting pictures, some are your best effort, and I totally salute everyone for doing your best effort. But it may not benefit the group quite so much. Ruth, I really love this picture. Why does it work? Well, another thing I bang on about a lot. You'll hear so many photographers, so many professionals talk about this, and others. And that, of course, is the light. Not only have we got a great composition with this little kid, you're just getting a celebration. You just feel him celebrating, running down a boardwalk. Did you ever run down a boardwalk when you were a kid? Did you ever get excited doing that? I sure did. And you can just feel that excitement. Now, Ruth, you've caught just the right moment. Look at the arms, look at the position of the feet, the composition, the way you've got that boardwalk in the middle, curling off round to the right. You've got your subject in the middle. They say don't put your subject in the middle. You have, but down low, we're getting that sky, and that's giving that feeling of a nice summer thing. Summer day. Dawn, you're so right. Dawn just wrote, really happy feeling is a really happy thing, exactly, and it's that blue sky which is helping to do that. This is what I mean about emotion. There's this feeling of emotion. You can almost feel the child's emotion, the child's excitement, and all excitement is a little celebration, isn't it? It's a beautiful shot, well put together. Look at the light. The light is coming towards the camera again. Look at that shadow. There's a little shadow coming towards us. Look at the light on the arms. These are qualities of light. These are the things which we as human beings have to learn how to see, because we don't see them naturally on our own. I just realised I've got something not on here. Let me just do that, because I want to look at you. These are the things we don't see. Look at the light and shade on the arms. Look at that soft little shadow. They're almost subconscious, but our subconscious picks them up. These are the things that we notice. These are the things we see. This is why light is so important. Beautiful picture, Ruth. Beautiful picture. We got some lovely celebration excitement coming on here as well, Tracy. I think it's a really great shot. And I love that bit of movement in the hand. It's just the right amount of movement. It's really good fun. Unfortunately, I think the focus is just slightly off. So hard to tell, isn't it, when these things get uploaded? But it looks like the knees are sharp, and it's just like the focus is that bit off. Such a difficult thing to get right. But we've got such fun, we've got life, we've got a little feeling of celebration. My coaching to you, Tracy, would be give him a little bit more space. You see how his toes are just cut off and it's just taking the top of his head off. It's kind of like, I think when you're going to crop, you've got to crop, like in hard, for a reason, for artistic merit. But I think in this case, it's kind of like, it would work so much better with a little bit more space, but it is still a lovely picture, Tracy. And just the right shutter speed to get that bit of movement. Maybe the shutter speed was just that bit slow and the movement has interpreted beautifully in the hand, but it's caused a little bit of softness. But indeed, Sean, what a happy chappy. This one is one of the things I was talking about. It's a beautiful picture. Kim, it is a beautiful picture, and this is where it can be so difficult to bring a feeling or an emotion into a picture, this engaging feeling, because I totally get it. You've got the emotion when you take the picture. You feel, wow, isn't that beautiful? And it is a beautiful picture. How could anyone say it isn't? It works. We've got the little bird and one colour, yellow. And yellow's loud. We've got the darker tone of the little bird, one colour, yellow, just the right depth of field, all that good stuff going on, perfect exposure as you would expect. That's just part of it. Perfect moment, just the little bird looking sideways cheekily over the shoulder. But the thing is, I am sure, Kim, you felt excitement when you took this picture. You felt great. You were looking at it and you thought, oh, that's just so beautiful, and brought your camera up and you shot it, and I get it. And the excitement that you felt when you saw it in the back and went, yeah, it's a great feeling, isn't it? When you look in the back and you know you've just nailed a good one. It is a lovely feeling. But for a viewer coming to it cold, it's like, what I get is, that's a beautiful picture. So there is an element of feeling, but I'm not quite getting that celebration thing coming out of it, but it is nonetheless a beautiful picture. Mike, you've been entering so many of these challenges. We hear your name so often, and thank you for doing that. You've got another beautiful shot. Look at the light. That's great light. Look at the way it's just kissing those rose petals. Look at the little green leaf poking out to the side. You see those little brighter and darker areas. This is where light is so important. Those little shadows and highlights bringing out this beautiful texture. It really is a lovely shot of a rose. I don't know what you said. Nothing more to be said. Happy Pride Month. Right, okay, got it. The rose, yes, it's a symbol of love. But without reading the comment, I wouldn't have quite got what it is you were celebrating, if that makes sense. You know, I don't know. Could you find a way to capture pride, the whole pride movement and all the rest of it? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a date in the calendar. Forgive me if there is. It's a beautiful photograph, but again, I'm not quite getting the celebration aspect, other than, yes, it's a lovely picture. Here we got, again, a really lovely idea, and I really get where you're coming from, Sam. You're another one. We see you so often. You know, I really take my hats off to you guys that enter week after week after week. Some of you don't even get mentioned, and I apologize, but it's just the way it is. I don't have a little black book. But this is, of course, a great idea. Celebration. This is a perfect celebration, isn't it? Celebrating a life together. And Sam, what a lovely wife you've got there, mate. Congratulations. It's a lovely idea. I love it. To me, it doesn't quite work on the photographic interpretation of that lovely feeling. I do get it. How can I explain this? I know I'm pushing you hard, but, you know, I'd be a rubbish coach if I didn't, wouldn't I? I think there's something about light here. The light is very, very flat. And forgive me, Sam, it has a feeling of slightly contrived. And I've done this so many times myself, trying to move things around and think, how do I make this look like I didn't just sort of put a bunch of stuff together? And please don't take that the wrong way, because you've got such an awesome idea. I love the way you've got the congratulations tile just sort of on a bit of an angle. And I love the photograph of you and your wife too. It's just such a cool looking picture. She looks so happy. Is she still as happy, Sam? That's the question. Or have you been in trouble? Beautiful shot. Great idea. I think somewhere down the line it could be a little bit of a light thing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the answer is. Maybe bringing the rose in from the top, pushing a bit of light from the top down across somehow. You can often do these things with an LED desk lamp or just an ordinary desk lamp for that matter. A window can work quite well. I just feel it's a lighting thing more than anything else, because I quite like the graphical nature. Or maybe the rose, almost cut it off right through the middle, just sort of crop it through the middle. I'm not sure what it needs, but there's a little bit of something. Great shot, Sam. Thank you so much for entering, and all of you. Another wonderful idea, because I hadn't thought of this one myself at all. David Hartwig, another name we see all the time. You're doing these workouts. Absolutely awesome. Celebrating your team. I get it. I don't know what it needs. Again, it's like, I get your interpretation. I get your idea. I get where you're going. And I love the courtyard. I'm just wondering, let's try the finger test. Let's just try, just see if we can just slide off. Yeah, to me it does it. You see the blue sky. The blue sky is quite distracting. Whereas the Come On England flag, the big one, it does lead us back to all those apartments. And I can't help but think maybe, and to me, if I just do the finger test, what do you think, guys? Yes or no? Am I talking out of my backside? I just find if I just kind of get rid of the blue, it strengthens it a little bit. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? I'm pointing at the wrong screen, aren't I? Blue, no blue. Yes, no. I don't know. It'd be really cool just to see what you think. I should have been clearer. Yes means yes, you like the blue. N means no blue. No blue. Jane, you said it so succinctly. Yeah, but it's a great idea, David. It really is, and it is. It's a nice idea. I like the way you spotted it. I like the way you've done it. The way the flags are repeating. You've got this sort of leading line coming back into a bunch of repeating patterns. Great shot. Great effort. Right, who have we got here? Caroline. I'm looking on the big screen, sorry. We've got a similar thing going on here, Caroline. And I can see you put so much work into that. I can see you've thought about how to do it. I can see how you've thought about the colours. The way you've kind of thought, shall we just take a little bit of the edge of the card off, make it a bit edgy? Good on you. You've got some really interesting light going on here too. I'm not sure the square format is working for it too much. My feeling is that it's just a little bit tight in. I just can't help wondering if maybe if it was more upright sort of thing, you know, so we had a little bit of space going on up above it, which sort of reflects the shape of the presence. But great effort, great idea, beautifully done. Michael, another gorgeous picture of a rose. You're another guy. You're here all the time, and I can't say this enough to all of you that enter these things. how rewarding it is when I look at some of these names. I see them coming and coming and coming, and many of them I kind of notice like the growth, and it's because you're doing it. That's what it is. Beautiful picture of a rose, Michael, celebrating the beauty of gardening. But I wouldn't have necessarily got that had I not read what you had written in the comments. It's a great thing. I wonder if, maybe, I don't know, you've got beautiful light. I love the little droplets of moisture, whether there's a way to see a bit more of the gardening, which might have said a bit more, told a little bit more of a story. We'd have the beauty, we'd have the garden, something like that. But it is still a very beautiful picture. I'm not knocking it as a picture at all, or any of the others. All I'm doing is pushing on that whole thing. About telling the story, the emotional thing. This one I think is really great fun too. Patrick, someone else who is putting themselves out there and making this stuff happen. Totally get your idea. And this looks so authentic because look at that great big smile in the background. And I can imagine how difficult it is to do these things. You've got the exposure to try and get it right because it's so easy to burn out those little firecrackers. It is so easy to get that wrong. We can see it's a birthday, the light from the firecracker. I like the shadowy happiness going on in the background. Great idea. And it is well executed. It's a tough thing to do, but it's a great shot. Donald, you see, I'm always hesitant. It's because I can't see it big enough on this screen. I know I've said it before. I really like this idea because I totally get your celebration, the celebration of new life, the ashes, the burn, and the new life coming through. And I really get your celebration here. But it needs a little bit of something. You've kind of used a classic rule of thirds to try and make that little pool of green stand out a bit more, which has worked well. I can't help but think it may have worked better if you could have got the camera a bit closer to those little shoots of green. Would it, these are just questions in my head, this may not be doable, would it have been possible to possibly have those little shoots of green, maybe position something like Ruth had with her little kid running down the boardwalk there? Maybe, would it have been possible to position those little bits of green, something like that, lower center, but be looking across the ashes and the burnt and the devastation? I just wonder if it might have been a little bit stronger. See if you could line up the green against a black bit. Not an easy thing to do. I totally get that. But great idea. Great idea. Now this one has got happiness and celebration going on all over the place, hasn't it? Chris Kemp. Renninger. I do. I really, really like it. And it just kind of works. Those arms coming together, you've thought about this, you've gone for an unusual angle, and it makes it noteworthy. It makes it something to look at. I don't know, would it have been better with a blue sky, or do we like the clouds? What do you think, guys? Clouds? No clouds? Not that there's much you can do about it. I get it. You've got lives. There's other things happening in the world besides entering a challenge. I know that. I think it's a real happy picture. What do you think, though? Would it work better with a blue sky, the blue sky happy thing, or do you think those little textures in the clouds work best? I can't make up my mind. I think it's good that it's not all cloud. What do you think, people? Pop a little comment in there. But I think it's a great shot. I love the fact you've organised a bunch of friends to do something. And this is just what it's all about, is photography. It doesn't happen in a camera. Photography happens a couple of inches behind the camera, inside your head, and it's thinking up how to make something work. It's flying by the seat of your pants. Many, many years ago, I did, maybe we should have this as a PLD theme sometime. I did my City and Guilds. I haven't got big degrees or anything like that. I'm self-taught, but I did do a City and Guilds basic photography, and I did a black and white photography module. And I decided to photograph red. The theme was red, but I shot the whole thing in black and white. And I had to figure a way to bring red across in black and white. One of them was red alert, you know, those red flashing things at a railway crossing. I thought I want to get one of those lights on and movement blur of the train going across. And I hadn't thought that I wouldn't be high enough up to get the lights where we needed it. So how was I going to get into the right place? There was some guys, some builders on the other side of the street. And I just said, guys, can I be a real pain in the ass? Would you mind putting your truck over there so I can stand in the back of it for 5 minutes when the next train comes through? And they said, yes. This is where photography happens. It's not in the camera. It's not in the latest feature, upgrade or gadget. It all comes about with you, with how you approach the environment, how you do things. And I love the fact you organised a bunch of people. You thought, let's get the camera on the ground upside down. Let's do something crazy. Great shot, Chris. Let's go find another one. This one I think is really kind of moving. It's a very moving shot. And I totally got the other context of celebrating life. Very appropriate for this evening. I do. I think it's a lovely shot, Harry. I love the way you've got what's written on those little shoes, the names, but also the reflection of the living, of the life that's still going on, and I think it's a very clever idea. I think it's a great shot. These are the things that make this work. We've got soft, sort of gentle light. The light isn't super important with something like this. There's just enough direction to put texture in those shoes. I'd liked it if you could have been an inch back, just an teeny bit back. I'm being picky here because you've got a great shot. Just an teeny bit back, so we weren't quite cropping the toe of that shoe. But nonetheless, I think it's a really powerful picture, and I totally get this celebration of death and rebirth and the whole cycle of life. Emma Rolls. So many of you, look at you, you come back week after week. If you're someone who's watching this and you haven't been entering, just enter. Just enter. This isn't about, oh, someone might be better than me, or someone might get a shout out and I won't. This is about the workout. This is about going to the gym. I go to the gym. I'm still kind of cuddly. But you know, it's like we all have places in life like that. Emma, I love this picture because I totally get the celebration. It's not just the candle and the cake, it's the expression. There is real excitement going on in this little girl's face. That little girl is celebrating, and that is just a little magical moment. And I don't know where you are, you've got beautiful light coming in. I'm guessing it's a window or something like that. I've no idea, but it doesn't really matter. I'm totally getting a celebration from that. I'm totally getting it. The candle and the cake are just hints at what the celebration is, but the emotion, the feeling of celebration is in that little girl's expression. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Now we've got a stunningly beautiful picture going on here from Rebecca. It's quite astonishing. You know, now this obviously provokes some kind of an emotion, because I mean, you can't help but look at it, can you? You've got to look at this picture. How can you not look at this picture? I'm not a big one on kitty pics and stuff like that, but I just think it's an astonishing picture, Rebecca. If you're here, I'd love to know how you lit the cat. It almost looks like the cat's been lit with a kaleidoscope or something, this sort of pool of light. I'm not sure what's going on here, but very, very beautifully done. Celebrating all the wonderful colours of the rainbow. Again, I think this is, who said that? Who said that? Beverly Devine, stunning is the word. You are right, it is stunning. what am I not quite getting? It's the celebration bit. And if the cat was kind of like, almost like, this is so difficult, never work with animals or children. So difficult, you know, if the cat was like pouring at the rainbow, I'd get the excitement, the celebration bit. Whereas, forgive me, the cat just kind of looks smug. It's kind of like, hey, I've got a rainbow. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't think I'm saying there's anything wrong with it. Wow, this is an amazing picture. It really is beautiful. It really is. This one, oh, another one. I'm going to go a bit quicker because I don't want to do what I did before and end up overrunning and all that stuff. Carl Spitzer, I just love your idea. And did anyone else get this straight away without looking at the description? And of course, we all have our different knowledges of different cultures and all the rest of it. Did anyone else get this the minute you saw it? Who got it, who didn't? Yes or no? Jane Barnes didn't get it. Yeah. And I can understand why, Jane. This is where different cultures and countries start to come into play. So it's Wimbledon tennis, which is famous for strawberries. And I get it, you're in New Zealand, Jane. I totally get it. Yeah. Why would you know that the Wimbledon Tennis Championships in the UK, which happen in the summer, are all about strawberries? I think this is a very, very accomplished photograph. I really do think it's lovely. To me, it looks like, I mean, I love the fact that there's a softness to it. There's this bit of movement. I love the boldness of the composition to cut the woman's head off. You lit this somehow, I don't know, it's kind of coming from below, in front and above to the left. You've obviously orchestrated this. And it looks to me like you really have been whacking strawberries. Good point, Sharon Grigg. I want cream too. If you're here, Carl, I'd love to know how you did it. My impression, my instinct is you were genuinely there somewhere chucking strawberries in the air and whacking them with a tennis racket. And I just think it's a great, great picture. Very, very simple. Red and blue, best friends. Red and blue are best friends. We've got a blue racket. We've got a lady wearing blue. Her skin tone works really, really well with that pale blue. We've got the blue background. And then those red strawberries. I'd say the light is possibly a little bit hot, a little bit harsh. Maybe if the light that whatever light you're using could be, hey Carl, you're here, top man. Side light flash and a bit of ambient light. Very accomplished, very accomplished. I think if the flash was a tiny bit further away, it might have helped, but I just love the energy in this and like the composition. It's a great shot. It's a great shot, Carl. What else have we got coming up next? I've got to wait until it comes up over there and I can see what it says. June Bannister. Hello, June Bannister. I like this idea. Now, again, we're kind of going with, you know, it's pretty obvious it's a Christmas present. But there's something about the way you've laid these things out. To me, it's something to do with that rug. There are very few colours. There is, again, I haven't calibrated that monitor. I apologise. I was on about this before, wasn't I? On this monitor, I've got a slight pink. Does anyone else have that? On that one, I've got totally neutral sort of, there is a pink on the rug, but there's no pink on anything else. I've got slightly pinky hues on the whites. Does anyone else have that? This is when monitor calibration is important. It's just I don't use this monitor for anything photographically important. Georgina's getting a bit of the pink, Annette isn't. Nick isn't. Just interesting to see. This is one of those things, you know, if you're doing, it doesn't matter for ourselves, of course it doesn't, and we can never control the colour, but this is a great example of you can never control the colour that somebody else sees your picture at, because unless everybody in the world calibrated their monitor, and it's not going to happen, is it? But as I say, I'm looking at a non-calibrated monitor right in front of me because I don't use this screen for anything video or photographic. Anyway, whatever. I think it's really nicely laid out. I like that there's this graphic nature to how you've got the bag and the angle of the gift box, the kind of casual draping of the pearls. I like the way you've been really brave and just sort of chopped that little square box on the right off the cube, balancing with the little candle. I think it's a little bit underlit. I think it could have done with a little bit more light. The light is beautiful. I just think it needed a little bit more of it, or possibly a slightly longer exposure. Leave that shutter open just for a tiny little bit longer. And it might have had a little bit more pop, a little bit more punch, but it's a great composition and it's a lovely idea. Right. If anyone doesn't get celebrate out of this, then, you know. Marie. Another name we see all the time. So many of you. You're all names we see all the time. That's why you're getting so good at this stuff. And if you're someone I haven't given a shout out to, listen to what's being said. Look at what some of these guys are doing in Emulator. I'm trying to talk about things, explaining why they work, things or why they don't quite work. Have a listen to that and then apply it. And that's the way to go. Marie, it's a great shot. I just think it is so much fun. Okay, I'm just looking at your comment. It's a composite. So I'm guessing you've got a bit of a self-portrait going on here. But if it's a composite, you've done it very, very well indeed. It is a very well executed one. I have no problem with composite images. Composite images have been around since the beginning of photography. They've been sandwiching negs and enlargers and doing things in darkroom since day one. So, but I think it's great. Small aperture, that produces that starburst. I think, unless you use the star filter, if you hear Marie, cool. And I don't care if you did. I haven't got a problem with these things. The only thing that matters is you did it and you made something engaging. You brought a feeling of party and celebration. And if it's selfie, you've done your own work. You know, you're working yourself. Look at the work in this. Photography isn't click and there's a picture. It's work. It's always a bit of work. Marie, no filter. Hey, Marie. Nice. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so Marie's used a small aperture. That's how she's achieved the starburst. Starbursts don't work unless you've got a really clear sky. If you've got haze and stuff like that going on, a little bit of light cloud, the starburst won't starburst no matter how small your aperture is. So I think it's a great job. Lots of selfies of you doing the bizzo against that blue sky. Total celebration. Another very beautiful picture. Dawn McLean. Celebrating the birth of our puppies, who are just 3 weeks old. They are cute puppies, and that little one kind of sticking out. We know which one to look at first, don't we? The one with the white nose. Classic thing, you know. We keep hearing this, don't we? We look at the brightest part of the picture first. The white nose. Where do we go first? Boom, straight into the white nose. Beautiful picture. Great picture of some puppies. But what I'm not getting from it is your celebration of the puppies. It's just a lovely picture of your puppies. I shouldn't have put the word just in there. That was a mistake. I apologise. It's a lovely picture of your puppies. The bit that's missing is your celebration, your own personal excitement or happiness. I don't know. Could someone in the household have, I don't know, just been excited with a puppy? I know I like having pictures and pictures of, I like having people in pictures. Doesn't mean you've got to. But I don't know. Yep, it's a beautiful picture. That's all I can say. Technically, I don't know, maybe the light's a little bit strong. I'm being picky because I'm playing coach. Got my coach hat on. How can you not celebrate pups, says Sean. Yeah, good point. My mum used to breed dogs. Maybe I'm kind of become immune to them. I grew up in a house, a menagerie. We had 10, 12 dogs at one point, plus cats, tortoises, goldfish, guinea pigs, abandoned squirrels she brought home to nurse, cows, ponies, chickens, goats, you name it. They were running around all over the place. So maybe I'm not quite as cooey about them. But great shot, beautifully done. Another beautiful picture. Celebrating the age of steam. And I did get this one. Robert. As soon as I saw it, I just thought, yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. you're celebrating the golden age of steam, or okay, sorry, I'm just reading your comments, so don't read them. First steam rally of the year. This is my first entry of photo challenge. Hey, Robert, rock and roll, man. Thank you so much for entering. This is the whole point. Going out, taking pictures, giving yourself a workout to look for pictures. But this is what the thing was. Now, first thing I thought was it's the celebration of the steam age and all that stuff. Why did I think that? Because I'm kind of into that stuff myself. I love going to these sorts of events. I haven't been to one for years, haven't had time, but I love the smell and the sounds and seeing these magnificent bits of machinery at work, and it kind of has conflicts with my own environmental leanings, but who cares? They're just awesome. What was slightly missing was, for me, I got the celebration because I like that sort of stuff. Would somebody else get what that celebration was? Or would they go, that's a really cool picture of a traction engine? Because it is. It's a great picture of a steam show. We've got mostly one colour green. We've got the shiny green of the traction engine. We've got greens and blacks, mostly greens and blacks, which does work well. Something which I find fascinating in this picture, but again, this is my own personal interest, is that little steam car in the background. Look at that little tiny steam car going on, whizzing along behind. Welcome, anyway, welcome Bob, Robert, for joining in and have a little think on that. I totally get it. It's a great picture. Oh my word, this one's just beautiful. What can I say? Crystal Bartholomew. It is just a very, very beautiful picture. And I get the child's wonder. There is a celebration of being lost in wonder. Am I alone in just thinking, I kind of miss some of that? I'm still a big kid, and I'm pleased that I am, thankful that I am. But, you know, does anyone get that stuff? I remember once, because I live in the countryside, we have flowers. If you're not in the UK, we have a flower here called a foxglove. It's got these purple sort of bell things. They grow quite tall. I can remember being about that age and going into these foxgloves, and it was like being in a pine forest for me, and I got lost and I couldn't find my mum and I was so scared. But the wonder of these huge great things up above me, that's what I'm getting out of this one. Beautifully executed picture, technically perfect. Yes, exposure's bang on. Look at that light. Again, we've talked about light, haven't we? The light is coming towards the camera. We've got lens flare going on. Now, there are many that will say lens flare is bad and wicked and wrong and you mustn't have lens flare. No, no. Appropriately used, lens flare can bring a huge amount of mood, emotion and feeling into an image. It's the mistiness of that little bit of lens flare just sneaking in at the top, that little bit of sort of spring sunshine. But the light is coming towards us. Look at the qualities of light. Look at that little bright bit on top of the little knitted woolly suit and the shadow on this side, very, very soft shadows. It wouldn't work in strong, strong sunshine. This is hazy light, probably coming through the tops of the trees. I don't know if you hear Crystal. Forgive me, I'm not looking at the comments at the moment. I should do more. Alex is miking a nosy. Good comment. But it's a beautiful, beautiful picture. Shallow depth of field. We're really concentrating on the chart. Pink and green, red and green. Reds and greens, they just work together. They are best friends. Those little wispy little bits of dandelion wafting about in the air, but the lens flare and the light are just perfect. It's a beautiful picture. I totally get where you're coming from. Jonathan. I get where you're coming from too. I think it's quite a cheeky entry. I think it's quite good fun. And I love the fact that you did enter something. You took a picture and you entered it. It says here, what does it say? I wasn't sure what to enter this time, but I had the old celebrations tub. Main reason I kind of picked on this one, so if you're somebody who's maybe thinking, it's just a picture of an empty sweet tub with celebrations written on it, It is. Why did I pick it out? Why did I want to talk about it? And I'm not belittling your picture. I'm saluting you for entering something, for doing something. It's because of light again. Now, I don't know if you're here, Jonathan. I'm just intrigued. Is this a cutout in Photoshop? But either way, look at the tub. There's light inside. Jonathan's put a bit of light inside there. That's what's bringing it to life. There's some very nice light going on here. And that is why it works so well. And it's a great example of how, you know, you can take a picture of pretty much anything. But if you get the light right, you'll make it intriguing. You'll make someone pause for a minute. It's not just an empty tub of Celebrations chocolates. It's an intriguing tub of Celebrations chocolates, and the reason being that light, that little bit of light coming through the translucency of the plastic. Oh, here's a celebration. I don't know if my brother's watching. I don't think he's ever watched one of these. Don't blame him. He has enough of me as it is. But what a great celebration. Another take on this, which, again, I hadn't really thought of. What could not be a celebration about this picture? Nice one, Andy. I love the fact you've got the whole little story going on, really. I love the way you've got, you know, the guy's sort of like, yeah, and the slightly pissed off batsman leaving his wicket. And I kind of like, you know, this guy at the back sort of running in. It's kind of like, hey, wait for me, I want to join in. I think it's a really great shot, Andy. I really do. I would say your exposure's maybe a little bit hot. I'm being your coach now. I'm being harsh on you. I think you could have been down a tiny bit. I don't know what mode you were shooting in, but I think it'd been a good place to argue with your light meter a little bit. If you're in a semi-auto mode, I think what it is somehow the camera's seeing the darkness behind and possibly brightening it up a little too much. It just looks a little bit too hot, slightly darker on the exposure. But I'm being picky. I think it's a great idea, and I think you caught it very well indeed. Sue Owen, you took the words out of my mouth. Good moment captured. And I love this picture. Smith Mark, or Mark Smith. Okay, I know it's a bit of me. It is a bit of me. I love these sorts of pictures, I know. But why does it work? I think it's because of the simplicity. It works well in black and white. But there's this kind of celebration of these guys taking their lunch break. It's like, oh, we're going to sit back now. And there's something intriguing about the photograph as a whole. You know, I mean, there's always something intriguing about a guy in a bowler hat, really, somehow. It's always interesting. You know, they're having the sandwich. And I like the way you've shot it. I like the way they're totally aware of you. And they're just kind of like smiling. It's almost like, who's this guy taking a picture of us having lunch? But I'm totally getting it. It's like a little celebration of relaxation. There's happiness coming out of these guys, particularly the guy closest to the camera. I think it's a great, well-captured moment. It's our friend, my friend Irene Carson, down there in Australia, right next door to Jane. Oh, I'll get in trouble for that one. New Zealand and Australia next door to each other. It's a great idea. It's a great shot, Irene. You do come up with some really great little ideas. I think it's a lot of fun. And there's something about, I got the celebration aspect. Of course I did. You know, the pointy little hat kind of turns it from a teddy on a sofa, but you've photographed it from an unusual angle. You have, yeah, who said that word? Sharon Grigg, adorable. Adorable. You've made a little teddy kind of adorable, and it's because of this kind of like, oh, you know, like they're flagged out after the party. And it's a very clever thing to do. This is what I mean. It's little subtle things that bring about feelings of adorable. Now, if the teddy was just lying on the floor wearing that hat, this isn't, I sound like a Marks and Spencer's advert, this isn't just a picture of a teddy in a hat. This is a picture of a little teddy, but taken from an imaginative angle. Because teddy just lying flat on the floor, oh, it's a teddy in a hat, yeah. But as soon as you then move that to somewhere else, also Look at these colours. Yeah, I know we can see a little bit of a cupboard or something sneaking in into the background, but it's not even secondary, it's like eighth in line. You don't notice it. We've got the colours, we've got the sofa, all one colour. Blue and red tones, best friends, they work together. The kind of neutral tones of Ted. It just works very well. The light, let's look at light. Window light, I am guessing, I don't know if you're here, Irene. But anyway, I'm sure you'll give us a wave if you are. The light, I'm guessing, is coming in from a window. Look at the qualities of light. Look, so facing the screen, left side of Ted is just slightly brighter than a right side of Ted. Or another way of saying this is Ted's own right side. The right is bright. Sorry, the right is darker than the left. It's that gentle wash of light coming over. Very, very subtle. These are not things human beings notice unless we actually really look hard. The teddy is upside down as he's an Aussie. Yeah, very true. Very true. I wonder if this is one that Irene made. Irene came on a workshop with me in Vietnam a couple of years ago and really took to street photography, having said, I've never done this before, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. And she went off and got stuck in, and like, boy, did she nail some stuff. It also gave me a little thing called lens mouse. You may have seen lens mouse in various places, certainly played a part in some early PLDs. It would be between 4 and 5 a.m. in Australia, says Jane. What time is it where you are, Jane? I'm not sure. Yeah, of course, Australia's got loads of time zones, isn't it? Anyway, beautifully done. I'm wondering if this is one of Irene's own creations. Another bit of total celebration and fun. Christopher Bonham. It's just a load of fun. 6:55. Wow. Thank you for being here, Jane. You totally get celebration, don't we? I don't know how many grown-ups here actually love to jump about and splash in a pool, even now. I totally get it. It's a great moment of celebration. Reading the comment here, yeah, and I get it. There is a total personal celebration going on for you too. Told he would never walk. What's not to celebrate in the sunshine? Very moving, Christopher. I totally get it. Yep. Does it work within in the context of an emotional picture within a story? Yes, it totally works. Within the context of do we feel celebration? Yes, we do. What about the light and all the rest of it? Yes, it does. Let's have a little look at this. Think about it. Where's the light coming from? Again, where's the light coming from? Behind. How many times do we go, wow, doesn't that look beautiful? Ask the next question you need to ask if you're struggling with this concept of light is, where's the light coming from? You'll be amazed how many times you notice that the light is coming from behind. It's coming towards you. Look at the bright little rim light going on around his shoulders, his head, along his arms. It's the light that's coming from behind, going through the water. That is what is absolutely making those little sparkles and droplets in the water stand out, because you know that is what makes it work. As soon as you put water, as soon as you put light behind something translucent, it brings it to life. It's the light that's making it work. Very happy, engaging picture there, Christopher. Clive Barton. What a beautiful picture. And so as someone who's addicted to early mornings, I love getting up early and going out in the morning. What a beautiful morning that is. I kind of get the feeling of celebrating that sort of cool feeling on a misty morning, and you know, like how it may feel later on as the sun's coming up, and it might get a little bit hotter, a little bit warmer. I think it's a beautiful picture. Calm, 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 still morning, and you've got these beautiful reflections going on. I've just noticed in your comment you said I blew my I think you're having a laugh. Was celebrating so hard when I saw this morning's weather, I blew my highlights. Good on you, Clive. I love a man who blows his highlights when he's excited. I know I do. Nothing wrong with blowing your highlights, people. Nothing wrong with blowing some highlights. It depends whether it's done. If the blown highlight works for the picture, and it does. Have you ever looked at the sun on an early morning? There's a little bit of mist in the air. The whole area around the sun burns out in your eyes. If it didn't burn out, it would look weird and photoshopped. So, Clive Barton, hello sir. Can we do the finger trick to exclude the tree on the left, please? Okay. Everybody, let's get your fingers out. Let's oblige Clive. Clive was saying, Clive has a concern about the tree on the left, so let's do it. You're right, Clive. Yeah, you're absolutely right. If that little bit of tree on the left wasn't there, I'd actually think it would be a little bit better. What do you think, people? The little bush on the left? Bush in, bush out. In or out? In or out? That's all. Just stick an in or an out. Covers, that's kind of brutal. Get rid of it. But you know, Clive, you've seen this for yourself. It's a really cool shot. I mean, even with it there, I didn't really notice it because the rest of it is very, very strong indeed. But yeah, you're right. As soon as we do our little finger test and just take that little bit off, it does help. But it's a beautiful picture, and I do get that celebration of a new day from it. Immediately, I can feel the chill in the air and anticipate the warmth as the day is going to come in a little bit later. Sharon Grigg, Mum says out. What fun. Oh, now here's one that I really, really love. Sean likes it as it is. Good man, Sean. And this is the great thing with photography. There is no right, there is no wrong. You photograph what you like. You put out into the world what you like. Have the conviction and the confidence to put out what you like, because that's your style. And that's all there is to it. Some people will love it and some people won't. But hey. You're welcome, Clive. My pleasure. I love this picture. I know it's a bit of me. I like that street photography stuff. Perm, I just think it's a really great picture. And I totally get you. We're celebrating photography. What could be more of a celebration? Love photography. What a great name for a photo shop. It really is. What a great name for a shop. I love this guy walking past, just giving you the cool thing. I haven't read it. I don't know whether you hung around. I really don't know. Hang on, we've got a quick question from somebody here. Animal Daily. Hello, sir. Yeah, you're really welcome. Please, please, please come and join the group. In the description area below, you will find a link to photography lockdown page of my website. That will tell you all you need to know. Everything you need to know. Just never cross from there, join our Facebook group, and everyone will welcome you and look after you. Won't you, people? Everyone will welcome you. Welcome, Animal. It would be really cool to have you on board. Please, please, please come and join in. These workouts are about people getting out there and doing it. And this is why we don't let people come in. We ask people not to post pictures from archives. We trust people not to just go to the last year or last week or something. It's all about doing it. Yeah, Perm, you're here. Good man. Thank you. You just hung around and waited. This is what Esther Suarez calls a stakeout. And this is a real key thing with this genre of photography. It's just like you see something and think that would make a really cool shot if. This is exactly what Perm has done. It's like gone, wow, that would be a cool shot, and then waited. And just waited until something happened. Perm, how many shots did you take here? Were you lucky enough to sort of get this cool guy in one go, or were there several different people who came by different opportunities? Were you here for a while, or did it all sort of happen in one go? Because there's the happy accident. Sometimes you can be there for ages. But I think it's a great shot. It's a real celebration of photography. because there's so much more going on there. Yes, the love photography is really, really obvious, but what about that blackboard? Look at the blackboard. You've got those little hearts going on in there. It's just a really cool, I love this shot. I think it's a great little shot. I kind of want to go there. That's awesome. Guys, did you just see Perm's comment? He waited there for an hour, one place for 1 hour to get a photograph. 20 pictures he took in that hour. This is the whole thing. Cameras don't take pictures. You take pictures in the way you use a camera. It's about being in the right place. It's about seeing. It's not about being super techy. It's not about knowing all the gadgets and gizmos and whiz-bang things. It's about you, and you are always overlooked for some upgrade or gadget or gizmo, and this is what is just so frustrating to me. Buy this thing. We're going to put more features on our camera. My Fuji has got a thing called dynamic range adjustment. Now, I love my Fuji camera. It's a wonderful little camera. Why have a dynamic range adjustment? I can reduce my dynamic range. Why would you want to do such a stupid thing as that? Why would I want to make it less good at capturing highlight and shade details? But it gets worse. I can increase it to 200%. No, now you're just lying to me. You can't have 200%. When this glass of water is full to the top, it's 100%. I try and double that, it's going to go everywhere. Nonsense, they're making it up, and this really, really irritates me. Oh, we've added dynamic range adjustment. You can boost it to 200%. No, you can't. But they do it to try and flog us things. It is you, it is Perm, it is you standing in front of a shop for an hour and waiting to see what happens. Another reason you can't do photography with someone else. You think how mad would your partner, friends, brother, sister, whoever you'd be with get if they were stood with you. You are right, Jane Barnes. It is my soapbox. It just drives me nuts. I'm going to move on because I think we all know what that's about. I love this one from Sandra Sim. I think this is a lovely, delicate, painterly thing. Volume up to 11. Sorry, Sue. Sorry, everybody. I'll calm down. I'll calm down. Yeah, Bert says yes. My wife agrees. Yeah. Beautiful shot, Sandra. It's got this lovely painterly quality to it. Of course, the purist will say, but it's not sharp. I think it's a really great shot. And I'm guessing you've got a little bit of intentional camera movement in here to make that happen. Maybe it's a happy accident. Sometimes these things happen, you know, you get that little bit of wobble. But I get the impression this is just, because it kind of looks almost calculated. It's almost like it's just a movement. It's almost like click, click. It's not a really, really long, slow shutter speed. But if you look at the horizon, look at the lines, everything has this kind of down movement. It's not like it's wobbling around everywhere. It's just this down movement. It's uniform throughout the picture, and it's generated this really lovely, beautiful, soft thing. I think it's great. I think it's a really nice picture. Look at the colours. Look at those lovely colours. We've got subtle, soft, delicate colours. Look at the light, because again, the light isn't coming from behind Sandra. It isn't exactly coming from in front of them either, but again, you see there's light and shade. It's not all the same light all on the side of them. It's bringing these textures to life. Light is just so important. Beautiful picture, beautiful picture. Oh, Glyn Haskins. Are you here, Glyn? I just need to know, are you here, Glyn? Just give us a wave or something if you are, please, because you usually are. It'd be great if you're here. I think it's a great picture of a train, you know, and I get it. We're celebrating the age of steam, and again, this is where cultural, cross-cultural things come in, because in some countries there are many steam trains still operating. Why would you celebrate the age of steam? We've got loads of the damn things running around being smelly, but also in different, you know, like here we kind of think, wow, look at these magnificent things, you know, the Flying Scotsman, very, very famous train, one of the fastest trains ever. I think it's a really nice shot. Could do with a little bit more contrast, I think. But again, you've obviously put in some work. You've been in the right place at the right time to capture a shot of the Flying Scotsman. Not an easy thing to do in itself. The light is letting you down because it is very overhead. It's very, very harsh. And it's causing that beautiful shiny boiler and the top of those carriages to burn out. But nonetheless, I totally got where you were coming from with your celebration. Don't think you're here, Glyn, because you'd have given us a wave by now, because, you know what I'm going to say, don't you, Glyn? If you watch the replay, the only problem is, of course, trains are boring, mate. Teach you to say motorbikes are boring. Great job, Glyn. Thank you. Mr. Malport, and this is Malport, I can tell. He mends my boots. He took a picture of my boots once. We did something about old, lost and forgotten as a theme, and he took a picture of my boots that were in his shop to be mended, looking all lost and forgotten in the back, which I think is really cool. I love this, Mel. I totally get it. I really get that feel of celebration. You know, the cut, the way you've got your body, the way you're standing, the stance. Very, very simple, lovely silhouette shot. Little tiny bit of ground. We don't need foreground. I just think it's a great shot. I get the happiness coming out of it. I totally get it. Silhouettes work very, very well. Don't be afraid to leap in, folks. Have a go at some silhouettes. Maybe we should do a silhouette one. I think we did a silhouette one once a while ago, but I've got a couple of ideas up my sleeve for another one yet. Great shot, Mel. Silhouettes do work very beautifully. Oh, this is such a lovely pastel thing. And it's a bit like, it's a similar thing, this sort of morning. I've just been really disappointed on my uncalibrated monitor. It's actually got more colours, and different colours. We've got more of a yellow sepia thing going on this one. But I still really, really like it. I get that feeling of New Day, just like we did with, where is it? Here it is, with Clyde Barton's picture. I still get, in a different, totally different way, and this is an intriguing thing, isn't it, with photography. Clive has brought about that New Day, cool, chilly, welcoming the new day, celebrating a new day feeling with quite a punchy sort of a shot, whereas Jamie has done it with a very, very soft, delicate sort of a shot. I think it's really nice. I think it's beautiful. You can feel that little bit of mist on your skin. Beautifully done. Oh, here's some celebration running around. So hard to capture little kids when they're getting excited, isn't it? Yeah, the happiness and the fun and the celebration of sunshine and flowers and running about on the grass is self-evident, isn't it? It's a lovely shot, Barbara. It really is. Look at that expression. This is real. You know, you can't make kids do something if they don't want to do it. You know, it just doesn't work. It's a lovely, lovely picture. My coaching, Barbara, will be give her a little bit more space. I don't know if you crop this after. Maybe there's a great big ugly council bin just to the left, which we can't see, and because it feels to me like it's been cropped a little bit heavy. I don't know if it has or not. Great capture of celebration. Now, my coaching for you here would be a little bit about the light, because the light's a little bit hard. I'm being coached now, I'm being nasty again. The light is a little bit harsh, it's a little bit heavy. It's okay because we've only got a little child, and little kids can get away with a light like this much better than older ones. And she is, of course, wearing sunglasses, which gives that hard light context. Without the sunglasses, it probably wouldn't work quite so well. My coaching would be, and this is why I think you've probably got a bin or something you don't want in your picture, but you do want the celebration of the happiness, would be if you were to move back and round to your right a bit more so the light was coming slightly more behind this delightful little kid. Now, as I say, I don't think you're here because maybe you would have said something. If you are here, please do say something, Barbara, because I think it's a great moment. It's a great little bit of happiness. I think the light could have been improved. But this is why I think you've got something just out of shot that is spoiling it. You couldn't move around because it would have been fully in shot, and you've cropped tightly to try and get rid of it. So I hope, this is why I mean, listen to these sorts of little bits of coaching, because it might help everyone, because photography is hard work. It's like, you may have been here for an hour trying to do this as well. Photography isn't just running around going click. I just had to put that in because it's just funny, isn't it? I mean, Maud, good on you. What more can I say? It just made me laugh. It just made me laugh. What a great picture. The robot mower. Why wouldn't you celebrate that? Hey, Barbara, you're here. Was there something just out of shot that was getting in the way? I'm just intrigued. I'd just like to know. Sorry, I know I'm backwards and forwardsing a bit, guys, but I just love it when you can be involved. But it's a great shot, Barbara. I'm just going to give Barbara just a moment to let us know, was there something just out of shot? I could be wrong. Maybe it's just a bit of coaching. Maybe it'll be valuable. We'll give you a moment, Barbara. Let's just enjoy looking at... who is this? Someone in Maud's life. Having a lovely time with the robo-mower. What fun. What happens if you've got, I don't know, like mice or something? Pet ones. Or you've got a little hamster, you're letting it run around in the garden. Does the mower eat it? Just a question. No, just running fast, and you had to... Okay, I got it, Barbara, thank you. So... Barbara's confronted by a fast-moving child and just had to move fast, and that's how it came out. Good on you for giving it a rock. Good on it for giving it a go, because it's not an easy thing to do. But you have totally captured a feeling of celebration. We're going to skip the enjoyment of the mower for a moment. Hey, Emma Rawls, thank you for coming in. Doesn't matter, you're here. Thank you for being here so often, as so many of you are. Graham Taylor, I totally get this awesome celebration too, Look at her expression. She's kind of going, will you get off, and loving every minute of it at the same time. It's just a really nice, happy little celebration of your mum. Who doesn't want to celebrate mum, Mine was awesome, and I'm sick. I can see yours is too. I think it's great. There's nothing like seeing a big grizzly man giving his mum a hug. I think it's awesome. Lovely picture. Totally celebrating your mum. We've got another bit of cricket celebration going on here too from Dan Murray. I love these sports ideas because they didn't cross my mind. I know exactly where this is, Dan. This is down by the Park Pale, isn't it? Lyndhurst. So you're obviously a local boy, like me. I totally get it. I like the way you've caught a moment. It looks to me like you have weighted the position of the bat. This is a kind of important thing, isn't it? It's like it's almost like he's hit a 4 or a 6 or something like that. I don't know. Am I getting the celebration feeling? I'm not quite getting it so much. What I'm getting here, forgive me, Dan, I'm being harsh. I've got my nasty coach head on again. I'm getting, here's a bunch of chaps having a wonderful game of cricket in the sunshine. I'm not quite getting the full-on celebration. I'm getting the moment when that kind of 6 or that 4 has just been struck. Totally getting it. But I like your composition. I like the way you put that together. Maybe finger time. Let's just take a tiny little bit of grass off the bottom. I'm not sure. Maybe a tiny bit of grass off the bottom, a little bit more of the blue sky, because it's a very English thing, isn't it? Cricket on a summer day and all the rest of it. And let's face it, this is such a pretty little cricket pitch. And I think I may have said before, just behind this at Park Pale, you've got Bolton's Bench. There's an artificial man-made hill made hundreds of years ago, and on the top there is a yew tree, and my nan is underneath it, or her remains are. I always go past and shout, "All right, Nan." Nan Kelly. That was a coincidence, wasn't it? I think you've done a really cool thing here, and I don't know, what celebration do you get? I'm asking everybody here, what celebration do you get from this? I definitely got one straight away. I'm just wondering if anyone else does, and if so, what was it? Please pop it in the comments, because I think it's a very accomplished shot. I think you've done this really well, Nan. Interesting. Please pop those comments in. Tell me, what do you get from this in the form of celebrate? I'm just reading your comment because I purposely didn't read any of them this time. I really went with it. When I was a child, we had a bowl of Smarties at my party. The image brings back nostalgia, happy and sad memories. Yeah, party, 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 party. Yeah, kids and Smarties, there's something about it. You've also, it looks to me like you've done the oil and water technique with it, which I think is a really masterful, mistressful stroke. Well done, Nan. I'd never thought of that. There's a video on my YouTube somewhere. I'm sure this is what you did, isn't it, Nan? So you get a clear glass bowl or something, you put a few little drops of water. You put some water in there and a few little drops of oil on top of the water, and then you sort of photograph down through it. I'd never thought about putting something like Smarties under one and getting those textures as well. I think it's a really nice shot. I think it's really... Oh, it's water drops on glass. You see, look at all this creativity and this lateral thinking going on here. Very nicely done, Nan. I think it's a great shot. I really do. Water drops on glass. Does anyone else think it looks like the oil on water thing? I really thought that's what it was. I really thought it was the oil on water thing. Am I alone in that thought? I think it's really great. Right, where are we? Couple more to go, and then we are into some others. Few of you thought it was oil on water. Some of you just being polite. Idiot Browne. Beautiful shot, Nan. And I love this one. It's got so much potential, and I totally got it. Again, Dave Hansen, I kind of got this, you know, this kind of, there's something sort of happy, sad about it, isn't there? About the celebration on one of these benches. Now I'm guessing this is one of those benches with a little plaque on it in memory of somebody. And I'm totally getting it, and I love the light coming down from behind. It's not quite packing the punch. I think it deserves is the right word. Deserves is the word here, Dave. I'm just really looking at your comments. What you said, last rays of sun catching the gold, mystery of celebrating a life past. Okay, so it is one of those benches with a little plaque. What is left when the celebration is over? Wow, deep thoughts. Right, staring lonely out to sea. My thoughts on that is, if it's looking out to sea, I just wonder how it might have worked. I guess there was a choice here. To use that bit of lens flare, again, creative lens flare is great. To use that bit of lens flare, that sort of softness, but I feel our celebration is a little bit lost. It's a little bit lost in amongst the lawn, the grass, and I've no idea that we're looking out to sea. You do, because you're there. I don't know, could it have worked from a slightly... Hello, Dave. Dave, you're here. Hello, Dave. Great shot. I can't help but wonder, is it just kind of like, I don't know, might it have worked from a slightly different angle? We could see some sea. I don't know what's going on around there. I'm just making stuff up in my head and saying what I think. But I got it. I found it poignant. It's not quite sharp. I think you said, where did I see? I think you said you whipped out your phone because you didn't have a camera with you. So good on you for doing that. But again, I kind of got a feeling from it. It's not quite as good as I think you might have hoped it could be, but good on you. Let's have a look. What's our next one? We have got, oh, Sandy Frew. It's kind of, there's a grandeur to this. I think that's where you were going with it. I think there was a grandeur for this one. But I'm not quite getting the full celebration. Maybe there's something, I see it's a long comment. I'm not going to make you sit through me reading it because I do take a long time to read things. But the fact that, okay, got it. I am reading a little bit of the comment. You were admitted into intensive care with a life-threatening condition. Wow, I am really sorry to hear that. This, I think, is one of those personal journeys, and I totally get it, Sandy. Apologies for not having read your obviously moving comment. As I said right at the start of this one, I kind of purposely went, no, I'm just going to look at the picture. I get the grandeur of the forest, and I get that this is obviously a very important place for pretty powerful reasons. And it's a beautifully done photograph. I like the way you've composed it. Look at the tree on the left, just sort of sliced, just holding it and framing it, balancing out with the one on the right. That little glimpse of the river and the hills and the mountains in the distance. It's a great picture. I'm not quite getting the whole celebration thing come out as someone who is not connected with the very personal and powerful story that you've got going on behind it. Hey, Phil Saunders Hall. Off you go, my man. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you all for joining in and for being here and for keeping this group alive and what it is. And let's have a look at the ones that I had to take out of my winners folder. As you know, what I do, those of you who've been here before, if you're new here, you don't. I grab everything that just speaks to me, put it in a folder, and then I have to start removing things so I'm left with the 6 that just made me go, yep, I'm afraid they're the ones I keep coming back to. And I just want to say to one of our regulars, I love this one, George. George Stevenson. I really get celebration of a spring day out of that. I really do. That great big bright sun coming through the trees. The angle from which you've shot on, this the unusual angle, that is so eye-catching. I just think it's a really lovely shot. I haven't read your comments, forgive me. I'm not going to because I want to just keep it about the picture. But I do get a happy feeling. Sunshine is a happy feeling, isn't it? Sunshine on your skin makes you feel happy, I think. Most of us. Certainly just makes me want to giggle. I think it's a really great shot, George. Getting down, looking up through the buttercups, the trees, the springtime, the sunshine. I totally get it. I think it's well thought out and well done. Nice one, George. I haven't seen you commenting tonight, so I'm guessing you might not be here. But really cool. My next one's Laura Wright. I totally get this celebration. I think we all get this celebration, don't we? How could we not? How can we not? Hang on, I'm just seeing a comment. Crystal Craig, Rufus S, you are George, right? George, are you here but under a different name? I find this so confusing. I'm a very little brain. Congratulations, George, anyway. I'm going to move on. Forgive me. Laura Wright. We get this celebration, don't we? It's very simple. It's very nicely done. Is it just me, or does anyone else somehow get a heart shape in those two people? Am I imagining it? I almost feel there's a sort of subconscious heart shape going on between those two people. I like the way you have thought about where to stand, the light path from the sun, the hazy sun coming through the clouds, and that light path running towards the people. The really cool thing about light paths is we've all got our own. They all belong to us, and nobody else has got your light path. What does that mean for a photographer? It means that when you've got the sun bright in the sky and that light path, if it's running across the ocean and it's to the right of the people, what have you got to do? Real question, what have you got to do? You want to put the light path behind the people because it's your own light path. What have you got to do? The light path's to the right, what have you got to do? Real question, please, somebody answer it. It's because some people don't know this, you know, nobody knew this. I didn't know this once upon a time. Nobody knew this once upon a time. Yeah, you move to your left and the light path will move to the left with you. It's your own personal light path, and you can move it wherever you want. Nobody will ever share your light path, because even if they got their head right next to your cheek here, looking over your shoulder, their light path is their own. It's separate and it's different. Alec Murray, jump up and down. You're a very silly man, sir. Thank you for that. Exactly. It's an awesome shot. I love it. I love the way you put it together. I like the silhouette. I'm glad somebody, I can't remember who it was, said they kind of got the heart thing too. Forgive me, your comments whizzed past. Really nicely done. I just got it. The celebration of the feelings between those two people is a kind of tangible thing, and it's been done in a very interesting way. Carrie. I kind of had to choose this one too, because I just kept coming back to it. I thought it was a very brave composition, and it's slightly unusual. It's almost slightly uncomfortable, but I do get that lost in springtime feeling in the sunshine from this picture. And it's a, what's the word? It's not a classical sort of a composition, is it? It's very, very tightly cropped. Somewhere earlier on, I remember saying something about it's kind of like if you're going to crop in hard and really hit someone in the face with that crop. And I feel that's what you've done here, Carrie. I love the flowers in the long hair, the clovers, aren't they? And we don't need to see the whole of the little girl to know that there's a little girl there. It's one of those places where the super tight crop works. I wish there was a rule to say this sort of super tight crop works and this sort doesn't. It doesn't quite come together like that. But nonetheless, I kept coming back to this because it's unusual. And this is the point in this fast-moving Instagram world of next. What do you keep coming back to? This one did it for me. Congratulations, Carrie. This one I just got celebration in droves. I couldn't help it. I think it's a lovely picture, and again, it's our friend Annette Vaughan. I know you've been here a few times, Annette, but and if you're somebody who's thinking, oh, it's Annette again, have a look at Annette and some of the other regulars in the group, and try and emulate their thinking and what they're doing. I really love this. I just think it's such a happy celebratory thing, and it is so totally natural. It's just a lovely little moment. How could I not like it? Look at the joy on their faces at just being together and outside and dancing and the sunshine. It's a real celebratory feel to it. It's a celebration of whatever it is, but I think it's a great shot, Annette. A great shot. Thank you for entering it. Now, sport theme. I got it. It's like, even when it was a little tiny thumbnail in the corner of the screen first popping up, I had to go bip, 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 bip. I got it. Totally got it. Moira, I think you captured such a great celebration. I mean, and the cool thing is, we just know what's happening. We don't need to see the TV set. We don't need to know that there is rugby or football or something happening. It is a real moment. You can tell that is a real moment. There is nothing staged in that. And I'm guessing, I don't know, did you say in your comments, just had to get a shot of people watching England v Croatia celebrating the goal. My granddaughter looks a bit nonplussed by it all. Surprised maybe. It's a great action shot. Looking at this, I'm guessing you were sitting underneath the telly waiting, just like I'm so sorry I've forgotten your name, our friend did with the Love Photography store. I wonder how long were you waiting there. Moira, you're here. Are you here? Yes, you are. Hey, Moira. How long were you sitting under the telly with your back to the screen? I'm just intrigued. I'm sure you must have been there for ages. Maybe not. Maybe it was a lucky moment. But these are all the things that add up to making a powerful picture. Perm, it was. Thank you, Crystal. Yes, Perm, forgive me. Yes, it was you who waited outside the photography shop. Yeah, it's all that adding up. So waiting for a moment when something is going to happen. I was under the TV, but not for too long. Oh, good for you. That's lucky. You might have been there for ages. But in order to make these things work, You've got to be ready. So that means having the camera ready, having some idea of what the composition is going to be, what sort of focal length you're going to use, what sort of aperture to have preset on the camera so you've got enough depth of field, what sort of shutter speed to choose to be sure that if when something happens, you can grab the moment. It's no good going, oh, they're getting excited, let me set a shutter speed fast enough to capture. No, it won't work. It's about having everything there ready to go, having made sure the exposure's right, having made sure the shutter speed's fast enough, because it could have been that could have been a, oh no, sort of a moment. As it is, it's a joyous, exceptional, happy moment. You caught some excitement and a celebration beautifully. But these are the things, you see, the camera can't do that for you. The camera can't anticipate how much depth of field you'll want, where you're going to need to focus, which shutter speed you're going to need to freeze the movement, which apps you're going to need to have enough depth of field, and then which ISO you're going to need to put onto the camera to enable you to have that shutter speed and aperture, because you're using the shutter speed and the aperture for creative reasons, not exposure reasons. Shutter speed's fast enough to freeze the motion, aperture's small enough to get the depth of field, and the exposure's being controlled with the ISO in this case. That's why there are 3 exposure controls. If you're struggling with that idea, description area below is a link to my Ultimate Beginner's course, which has got so many reviews. It's helped so many people. If you're struggling with that stuff, please go and invest in it, because I promise it will help you. And if you think it didn't, well, I'll give you your money back. So, you know, and that's done with it. Great shot, Moira. And so let's move on to our Celebrate winner. This challenge, it's such a warm, lovely picture that I just had to go with it, from David Cunningham. To me, I totally get it. I want to be there with those friends, with my friends, in that beautiful, beautiful, warm evening light. That is such, to me, a celebration of friendship. It just works on so many levels. It's engaging and it's eye-catching because of the colours. Yeah, David's very good at this. Look at David's pictures. David knows he's good at this stuff. But it is such a beautiful moment. It is so beautifully shot. Friendship in the Sun. Dartmoor. I was down there last weekend. It's a beautifully done shot. I don't know if you're here, David. I'm just intrigued. Do you know these people, or is it just something that you saw and you captured? This is the thing. Look at the photographers who aren't good at this, but look at what they're doing. Think about it. Again, what have we talked about so often? Where's the light coming from? It's coming from in front and back towards the camera. All the things you're told not to do. Don't put the sun in front of the camera. Arse. The shadows are coming towards the camera. Again, we've seen this theme a few times tonight, haven't we? Where the light source, the sun, is just sort of cropped off. There's just this little bit of lens flare starting to sneak in. Hey, David. You were chatting to them just as the sun went down. New friends. And this is, of course, another huge piece of photography, which nobody tells you. It's not a gadget that does it. It is making some new friends, chatting to people. Hey, guys, how you doing? Isn't it a beautiful evening? Chat, 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 chat. You do. You make some new friends. You never know who you're going to meet. But this is the investment. These are the things that make photography work, not the new gadget, not the latest upgrade. Annette Vaughan, you're lovely. Thank you so much. Everybody, rock and roll. Thank you, Annette Vaughan, for helping to support it all. But these are the things which make photography work, engaging with your surroundings and the people in those surroundings. So what's working here? Yeah, obviously. So what's David done? He's chosen the focal length that gives him the field of view that he wants, and has cropped just that little bit of sun. This isn't a crop that's done afterwards, because you wouldn't have that beautiful soft lens flare going on without that little tiny bit of a crop across the sun. Look how the light is coming towards the camera. It's not as difficult as an exposure as you may be thinking if you're struggling with this sort of concept, because if you look at the whole picture, the only really, really bright bit is the sun up there right at the top of the screen. The rest of it if you imagine that in black and white, it's pretty much a mid-grey tone. This isn't a really, really difficult thing to photograph, but it is a difficult thing. It's an investment thing to invest the time and the vision in order to capture it. And the other thing, of course, is the moment. Now, the light coming towards us, putting that beautiful rim light around the people. You wouldn't see that rim light if they were against a bright sky. They're against a dark area, so it stands out. It makes them absolutely pop loudly in the picture. The fact that the shape of them is kind of echoed. Look at the little dip in the ground, in the foreground. Look at the shapes in the ground. It's the light coming towards. But it's David moving around side to side to get them where he wants them. But then also waiting for that little moment when something happens. You know, look at the arm on the shoulder, the angle of the bodies. There's some true friendship coming out of that. It's a real celebration of friendship. Great shot. Great shot. And for those of you interested, David has just popped his settings on there. 250 ISO at 125th of a second at f8. Something to remember, people. So many people say, what settings do you use? Someone else's settings are of no value to you. Thank you for that, David. Thank you, Tracy. And someone else, anybody who's been making some donations tonight, you're rock stars. You're keeping this PLD group alive. Thank you. Those of you who are making little regular donations, you're keeping it alive, and I've gone off on a tangent. I should save that till later. Settings. Other people's settings are not really of any value, apart from possibly to give you an inkling about maybe a shutter speed for movement or an aperture for depth of field. But the thing you'll remember is that depth of field isn't just apertures, it's your distance to subject and the focal length of the lens. They affect depth of field almost more than the aperture does. And yeah, everybody keeps going, oh, apertures are depth of field, apertures are depth. They are the fine control of depth of field, but they're not the only thing. These are the keys to it, is being in the right place at the right time, thinking it through. Settings, other people's settings won't necessarily work for you. If David would probably tell you himself, if you took this much the same shot 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, it would be a different exposure altogether because the light levels would have changed. But thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining in and for entering this challenge. You are the lifeblood of this community. We've got such a great community, and I just want to see it grow and reach a bit further, because I'm sure it just puts a little bit of good out into the world. Everybody who has bought a sticker or put something into the super chat, thank you for supporting everybody. It's you're just doing a great job. It's amazing to me, your commitment to this stuff. Let's see some of you who sit on the sidelines come in and enter. Keep your eyes peeled for the competition we're doing in partnership with ClickerSnap. It's something we intend to do moving forward. This isn't a temporary one-off thing. What I've invited you to is a temporary one-off thing, because it's a first go, it's a first chance. Tom and ClickerSnap, they are funding it. They're putting up the prize money. We, Emma, myself, Paul, Joe, our little business, we are administering it and making it happen. So I think it's really exciting what we can achieve with that as well, because I think we can make that into something exciting, aspirational, and a force for good. And I've got some ideas about how we can kind of keep the playing field fairly level, but it's premature to say anything. Michael Malker just blew a tutor to everybody who made donations. Thank you, Michael. Great conversation with Michael really recently, but that's another tangent. I'm staying off. Anyway, everybody, thank you everybody for being here. Sharon Gregg has just said her mum's name is Margaret and she might watch next time. Shout out to Sharon's mum, Margaret. Thank you for being here, Sharon's mum, Margaret. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to see you all as usual. The next challenge will, of course, be going live pretty soon. Apologies last week, because I know I rushed through the last. I tried to do too much in one go. And even though I rushed away to put the next challenge live, I know I was late because the site is having a load of work done on the back end, and I couldn't do a full update. And I had to then call our wonderful tech genius support people who said, you can't, sorry, yeah, we need to do this. And it took quite a while to get it up after the live, but we got there in the end. Thank you, all of you. Be well, be happy, take care. And whatever you do, please spread the word about Giles Dooley coming to talk to us. This is a big deal. This is not something incidental. We've had some awesome speakers and we will have some more guest speakers, but you don't want to miss Giles. He'll have you laughing and crying and moved and inspired in spades. He is one of the world's good guys. You must not miss Giles, and it is such a big deal that he was to call me this morning on chat and say, hey, do you still want me to come and do that talk? Yes, Giles, please. And he's giving us his time. Be well, be happy, have a great challenge, have a great week. Remember, go out and shoot pictures for the challenge. Get out there, give yourself a workout. It's not designed to fit in. It's not designed to be easy, because nothing good was ever easy. Be well, take care. I think the world of you all.